Right, we are going to build on the momentum from Monday night's revision surge before Tuesday night's reading and listening exam. There is one more Spanish exam left to go, and that is the writing. The really great thing about the writing exam is that it is completely in your control. If you are well prepared, it will go well. So let's get you well prepared. Today's video is going to focus purely on one type of bullet point. I'm going to do 4 of these videos over the next 4 days, and today we're looking about writing in the past. We're focusing on the longer, higher question here. So that's 130 to 150 if you're doing EdXL. For AQA, I believe it's similar. It might be slightly longer word count. And we're going to look at how we can use this structure grid that is in front of us to basically know how to answer any question we get in the past tense. We're going to use these structures in this order, and we're going to know half of what we would write in the answer before we even get into the exam and see the question. And we're going to do it in this order, so we're going to make sure we understand the bullet point, look at how we can identify the keywords we need to know. Then we're going to look at key phrases, do a matchup so we know the key phrases that we need to use in the past tense structure. And then we're going to do a model answer translation, and then it will be over to you to do some independent writing that you can send to me for feedback if you wish. Right, so this is the question. The vocab for week 20 of the revision challenge would be school. We haven't covered school at all yet, so we're going to do a question on school here. And we are focusing on the question, the bullet point that is highlighted in green. Los exámenes que hiciste en el pasado. We know that the topic is my future studies. It says that at the top in English, which always gives us a good indication of what we're writing about. And we can see here we're writing an article to interest people. Okay, and we are focusing on the past tense today. The opinion, I've already done a video on opinions, which I will link at the top. So if you want some support with writing opinions, usually students are very good at that, but you can check out that video as well. So today, the key words here highlighted in yellow, pasado and hiciste. Those 2 words are the things that tell me this is the past tense. Pasado obviously means in the past. Hiciste, the most important thing here is the iste. Anytime you see a verb that ends in iste or aste in a writing question, you know it's asking you to write in the past tense. So this one is saying the exams that you did in the past. And actually, as we get into this, you'll see it's not the easiest question to answer, but using this structure grid will really help you make a much easier job of it. So these are our 13 key phrases, verbs, words that we are going to need to use and learn so that you can use the past tense structure grid properly. So pause the video and see if you can match them up. If you want a challenge, don't even look at the matchup options in English, just see if you can translate those words and come back when you want the answers. Bien. Okay, so I've written, in case you've written down the answers with the letters, it's there, but we're also going to see them here. So siempre he querido plus the infinitive, and that is important. If you're going to use fancy structures, use them properly. Siempre he querido must be followed by the infinitive, means I have always wanted to. Dos, por eso, therefore. Entonces, so. Those are fairly interchangeable. Anteayer, the day before yesterday. Just nice, we're doing the higher question, so we want to impress with our range of vocabulary. Instead of saying ayer, use anteayer. Cinco, hace 2 días, 2 days ago. Hace plus any time phrase will be whatever that time is, ago. Viaje, I traveled, and comí, I ate. And you will have seen on the previous slide that E and that I were highlighted in green. That is to remind us that regular AR verbs in the past tense will always end with an E accent. And that's one really easy way to proofread your work and make sure you're doing it correctly, you're writing the past tense correctly. The same ER and IR verbs will always end in an I accent. Me gustó muchísimo. And be so careful here that you put the accent on the O. I liked it a lot. Fue, it was, when I'm giving an opinion. And please do not be somebody that confuses fue and fui. Make sure you know the difference between them. Fui ends with an I because I'm talking about I went. Lo que más me gustó fue que. What I most liked was that, which is a really nice complex phrase to add your detail to a past tense question. This is like a really top level wow phrase here. Si hubiera podido, me habría gustado should also be followed by the infinitive. And that is, if I had been able to, I would have liked to. And again, key, remember that that must be followed by the infinitive. Examiners don't like when students use really fancy phrases, but then they don't use them properly. The grammar afterwards is wrong because it shows that you've just learned it rather than understanding how to use it. So make sure that you follow that with an infinitive. Era, there, sorry, that is the wrong way around. Shocking. Era is it was. I apologize. When I'm describing things in the past. And había is there was. I am very sorry for that. Right, so make note of those. I've also linked these as a Quizlet set in the description so you can practice these after you've watched the video if you want to make sure that you can really remember them and use them properly for answering in the past tense. So, as we saw at the start of the video, here is our structure grid. The question is, los exámenes que hiciste en el pasado. I've broken it down into the 5 separate sections. We're going to start by saying, I have always wanted to, and you'll see how this flows. It seems a bit stunted at the start, but you will see how it works. So I would start my answer with, siempre he querido ser médico. Pause the video, translate, come back when you want the answer. Vale, siempre he querido ser médico. I have always wanted to be a doctor. Okay, and I've highlighted, as we go through this, you'll see I've highlighted certain things in green. That is just to show you these are the like really nice things. It's either a good verb in one of the past tenses, or it is a nice connective, etc. So anything highlighted in green is like, this is really nice to use. But of course, all of this is really nice because the structure grid is amazing. Right, then bullet point 2 would follow on from this, the ... I have always wanted to be a doctor. Así que es necesario sacar buenas notas en mis exámenes. Hace 2 semanas hice mis exámenes, de biología y química, 2 asignaturas muy importantes para los médicos. Pause the video again, come back when you want the answer. Vale, so the translation here, and note the use of así que and hice are my 2 like green light phrases here. So it is important to get good grades in my exams. 2 weeks ago, I did my biology and chemistry exams, 2 very important subjects for doctors. Okay, so you can see now how the first phrase at the top fits into the second answer. And we do this partly because you're using a different past tense here, using the past tense by saying, I have always wanted to. It adds a bit of creativity to your work. It's something different. And I think it makes you think a little bit more about what you want to say. So you're sort of planning your answer a little bit more carefully. Hopefully you will also note that actually most of the language I'm using within these sentences is quite simple vocabulary that most people should be able to use, and it's just using it in a more complex way by using it in the structure grid and adding in all these phrases, but it's not super complex Spanish, so it should be accessible for GCSE students. Third point. Me gustó muchísimo el examen de biología, dado que fue facilísimo. Por otro lado, el examen de química fue un desastre. Pause, come back when you want the answer. Vale, so this one is, I really liked the biology exam. Might seem a strange thing to say, given that it was extremely easy. So I'm using the ísimo on the end of my adjectives to say extremely. On the other hand, good connective, the chemistry exam was a disaster. Nice and dramatic, adds some intrigue for the person marking your work. Step 4. Lo que menos me gustó fue que las preguntas eran más difíciles que las preguntas del año pasado. Pause, come back for the translation. Okay, so we've got what I least liked was that the questions were more difficult than the questions from last year. So I'm using eran because I'm describing the questions, and I've got a comparison here, más difícil que. And finally, and this is like the phrase you would really use to wow the person marking your work. Si hubiera podido, me habría gustado tener más tiempo durante el examen para pensar, pero no fue posible. And if you watched Monday night's revision video for translation, you would have seen this para plus infinitive. So see if you can remember how to translate that. Come back when you want the answer. Okay. If I would have been able to, I would have liked to have more time to think during the exam, but it wasn't possible. Okay, so there is my example answer. You might think, well, some of the things you're saying there are just a little bit weird, but they're going to get you good marks. This is going to get you good marks, and this is only one of 4 bullet points. So just imagine when you've seen the structure grids for the other 3 kinds of bullet points, how good your answer is going to be. And so the reason that I really like using the structure grid is because having these key phrases is making me think of interesting ways to give my answer. It's not just me thinking, what am I supposed to say? The exams I did in the past, yesterday I did my Spanish exam, it was difficult. No, this is making you be really creative, but it's also not making you think about how to be creative because I'm telling you what to say and you just have to fill in the gaps. So hopefully you like this and you can see that it would work for you. If you do like it and you want to then use it to practice revising, then here is the structure grid now with the Spanish and the English for you to pause the video with this on the screen and write your own answer. Or if you want more of a challenge, then you will pause the screen here where there's no Spanish and you have to try and remember the phrases that we've learned in this video and use them to answer the questions. Or you could practice the Quizlet set that's in the description first, then come back to this screen, then write your answer. Okay, I will happily give feedback to anybody if you want to write your paragraph in the comments and I can have a look at it, correct it, give you some suggestions on what else to do. This is paragraph 1. We will be back tomorrow with paragraph 2. We will be looking at the future tense and how you can answer those bullet points. So I hope to see you then. Good luck with this and good luck with any other exams you have this week.